Hi guys, we are now back on the channel and today we're going to look at Google Colab. So this is a platform on which you can run different kinds of codes, mostly Python code, and you can also perform some AI activities. So you can train some convnets if you want, you can perform image processing, you can evaluate some machine learning models and so on. So before I continue, I need to state that this is a very casual video, meaning that at times there's going to be some noise in the background and so on, and I'm not really going to spend time editing it. I just want to provide some value by teaching you guys how you can use this platform and then hopefully answer your questions in the comment section. So before I click on this, I need to let you know guys that this platform, Colab, is very close to something called a Jupyter Notebook. So you see here that a Jupyter Notebook is a web-based interactive computing platform. And you can do different kind of things on that, like a live code, equations, narrative text, and so on. So if you've never heard of this, I recommend that you Google it. You go on jupyter.org right here, and then you can take a look at, the text that is there, possibly some sample code and so on. But today we're not going to deal with a Jupyter Notebook directly because we're not going to install anything. Instead, what we're going to do is go here and click on Collaboratory. So this takes us to a website. The URL here is collab.research.google.com. Now here I already have a few notebooks here. I was just playing around with it. But if you're very new to it, you might have to log into your Google account. And once you log in, you will say, welcome to Collaboratory. So let's click on this notebook here. And it takes us to a very basic Colab notebook. It has a few headings. And you can see what it looks like. You can have this here, I believe, is a heading 1. They have a markdown, so you can see that they're using HTML code in here. And then when they render it you can press Shift and Enter if you want, then it gets displayed like this, and it becomes something that end users can consume. So here we have Colab. There is some paragraph text. They've embedded a video, and then they provide a very quick overview of the platform, just like this. So what is Colab? Well, it allows you to write and execute Python in your browser. So you don't need any configuration, which is great. You can access free GPUs, that is from Google's backend. So you access the GPUs that they make available to you free of charge. And you can easily share these notebooks. So here, this is a public notebook. I do not own it. I believe it's owned by the Google team, possibly by the research team. But I'm still able to access this and consume the content that they have there. So they say here, if you're a student, data scientist, or AI researcher, then it makes your work much easier, which is true because you don't need to configure anything. So let's say you're running low on computing power, but you need to train a machine learning model. You can use such a platform, take advantage of Google's backend, the GPUs and all the entire infrastructure, and leverage the power that they give you on the clouds. So then to get started, you can simply type a few codes just like this. So this is a Python variable. They evaluate this. So 24 times 60 times something. This is the number of seconds in a day. And when you press that button, it's like a play button. It will display the value of that variable. We'll see more about that in detail later on, either in this video or in the next part of this series. So to execute the code is very simple. You can easily add codes and text. They give you some buttons at the top. You can copy your content to Google Drive, and you can add links, import libraries. You can have arrays. You can plot some data just like this. And they also provide you TPUs. So TPUs are faster than GPUs. They are some sort of accelerators that I believe Google builds it themselves, and then they make it available to users of Google Colab. So these are extra resources. You can read more about that if you have access to this notebook, which you should, because I believe this is a public one, accessible by everyone who has a Google account. So now you get that this is hosted on the research platform of Google because it's meant to be used by students, data scientists, and AI researchers. Now, the questions that we're going to answer in this series is what kind of code can we create using Colab? How can we replicate something like what they have here, meaning importing libraries? We're going to look at loops, loading images, plotting, using data frames for tabular information. We're going to understand how errors are displayed because sometimes you might perform an action and it will output an error. For example, if a variable doesn't exist or if there is a flaw in your logic. We're also going to look at the markdown for headings, paragraphs, lists, perhaps mathematical formulas because you can use LaTeX with this platform. And we're also going to look at sessions and runtime. So you see here in this menu, they grant you control over the runtime. So you can restart this, disconnect, you can manage your sessions and so on. We're also going to look at their CPUs and their GPUs and also their TPUs. And then we're going to take a look at importing some files from your private Google Drive accounts, how to store and access files, permanently save them, and also how to update files in a session. And then we're going to look at how to clone a GitHub repository so that you can access all the content from GitHub directly through Google Colab. We're going to look also at interactive tables and the extra menus that they have here on this platform, and perhaps some sample code snippets such as evaluating JavaScript in Python and so on. So I hope you guys have an idea of what we're going to do. This video is just an overview. In the next video, we're going to start working with variables, notably the order in which they are evaluated and how the values update in the background, as well as arrays, NumPy arrays, for loop, images, plotting, data frames, and more. So stay tuned, please like this video and subscribe if you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next video.